This little girl did not deserve that, runaway or not, whether she was with this, adult man or not.
She dismissed the talk about the wig as paranoia until the footage surfaced. One look at her face said everything. What began as gossip now looked like a calculated move. And if fans have seen this much, what more might be hidden about Celeste's death? New evidence has emerged, exposing what could be David's darkest secret. Breaking developments just dropped that completely reshaped the case. Forget everything you thought you knew, because new video footage has surfaced showing David not just near the crime scene, not merely linked by a vehicle, but allegedly taking his late girlfriend Celeste's wig during what authorities now call one of the most disturbing celebrity scandals of the decade. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't rumor or online fiction. This is real, unsettling evidence that changes the entire picture. Yet the most shocking element of this new clip, the part you'll see later, isn't even the act itself. It's what it reveals about the mindset of a rising star who once had everything, but may now be losing it all. This story isn't just about a wig, it's about power, obsession, betrayal, and perhaps something even darker. Stay with us, because the revelations keep coming. Let's take it back. In September 2025, workers at a Hollywood impound lot made a discovery that would permanently alter David's career. A Tesla, left abandoned for 5 days, towed in for routine inspection. The stench was so strong it forced the entire lot to shut down. Inside, they found a body wrapped in plastic, later identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, a teen missing since April 2024. Think about that. Celeste disappeared at 13. By the time she was found, she was 15. Her remains were discovered inside a car registered to rising R&B artist David Anthony Burke, known publicly as David. That connection alone, the car, set off a media storm. Then came more evidence. Identical tattoos, confirmed by forensic reports, sparking outrage online. Fans began connecting clues, pointing to his music, particularly Romantic Homicide, uploaded on September 7, 2022, the same day Celeste turned 12. Too many coincidences, people said. Too many parallels between his art and her life. And now, with this footage, those coincidences look like something much more deliberate. Let's break it down. This isn't baseless gossip. There are verified clips, live stream recordings, and concert footage where Celeste, or someone strikingly similar to her, appears beside David just weeks before her death. One viral video from his Maryland show in August 2025 shows a girl in a black tube top with long dark hair standing beside David's brother. At one point, David looks up and points toward her, forming a half heart with his hands.
New video footage of a girl believed to be Celeste at David's concert in late August has surfaced, and she was also wearing a black tube top at this concert, which is what we know she was wearing when she was found dead in David's trunk based on police reports.
Now, think about this for a moment. If that truly was Celeste alive in late August, it would completely dismantle the established timeline because her badly decomposed remains were found on September 8th. That would mean either the decomposition process accelerated unnaturally under extreme California heat, or something even more troubling happened behind the scenes. And if it wasn't Celeste, it raises another grim possibility. David may have been surrounding himself with lookalikes, replicating the image of a girl who could already have been dead. Either way, it's deeply unsettling, but it doesn't end there. In the newly released footage, analyzed frame by online investigators, David is seen holding an object while moving backstage. When frozen and zoomed in, the object appears to be a wig. Long, black, and strikingly similar to Celeste's hair when she disappeared. Why was he holding it? Why did he take it? Fans and investigators are calling it a smoking gun, evidence of either a ritualistic fixation or a cover-up. Some see it as symbolic, a trophy. Others see it as practical, a way to destroy evidence. Either way, this act takes the case from the realm of coincidence into something far more sinister. Reactions have been explosive on Twitch. Even major streamers like Ludwig and XQC have weighed in. Ludwig directly asked Jason Lewine if he had seen the allegations. Initially, Jason tried to defend David, but then came the hard evidence: matching tattoos, obsessive lyrics, photos of them together. And XQC dropped the blunt assessment.
Detective XQC shocked after realizing that D4vd released Romantic Homicide on the same day as Celeste's 12th birthday, with XQC stating, "There's too many coincidences that line up to the point he believes the rumors."
Too many coincidences. Too much smoke for there not to be fire. Pause for a second. Why should this matter to you? Why does this story go beyond tabloid drama and social media speculation? Because it's about more than one artist, one crime, or one scandal. It's about the system that allows vulnerable young fans to be drawn into dangerous relationships with powerful figures. It's about the dark space where art and reality overlap, where violent lyrics start to mirror real life. And it's about accountability in an industry that often ignores warning signs until tragedy strikes. For Celeste's family, this isn't a spectacle, it's grief. For fans who once saw David as the voice of their generation, this feels like betrayal. For the music industry, it's a wake-up call. How closely can art imitate life before it stops being art and starts becoming confession? Take his breakthrough track, Romantic Homicide. On the surface, it's a heartbreak ballad, moody and lo-fi, about betrayal and loss. But look closer. Its upload date is September 7th, 2022, the very day Celeste turned 12. What once seemed like coincidence now feels deliberate. Too many overlaps, too many parallels. And when you add that to the body discovered in his Tesla, the matching tattoos, the relationship reportedly confirmed by her mother, the connections draw themselves. Here's the most chilling element: the deleted streams. Clips have surfaced of David and Celeste appearing together on live streams, nervously asking moderators to erase evidence.
Mods, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
What this clip tells me here, as well as all the other pictures that I've seen, is that Celeste had a place to stay, right? Somebody was harboring her. David was around, clearly. There were people that were harboring her as a runaway.
Think about that. A missing 13-year-old later confirmed dead, asking to erase her digital footprint while sitting next to David. Investigators believe this wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate effort to hide her whereabouts. And if David knew she was a runaway, as commentary suggests, then he wasn't just spending time with a fan, he was sheltering a child sought by her family. That's not only alarming, it's potentially criminal. Meanwhile, the consequences were swift. On September 17th, 2025, the night he was scheduled to perform for a sold-out crowd in Seattle, David abruptly canceled. Fans were initially puzzled, but soon the truth began to surface. Then came the wave of cancellations. San Francisco, Los Angeles, and even international stops across Europe were called off. Ticketmaster sent out refund notices, yet no amount of money could make up for the sense of betrayal his fans felt. And it didn't end there. The Grammy Museum, once ready to showcase him as a breakout star, removed his name from its lineup. Interscope Records, his label, quietly paused all promotional activity. The deluxe version of his debut album Withered was postponed indefinitely. Major brands like Crocs and Hollister quickly deleted him from their marketing campaigns. David wasn't just losing concerts, he was watching his entire future collapse. Then came the emotional fallout. Celeste's family, already devastated by her disappearance, now had to confront the reality of her death. Her mother revealed she had always suspected that her daughter's boyfriend, David, might have been involved. When news broke about the Tesla discovery, she immediately feared the worst, that it was her little girl. Imagine that. A mother forced to watch the world debate whether her daughter's death was just coincidence in an artist's lyrics. A mother preparing funerals instead of birthday parties. As hashtags like #Justice for Celeste trended globally, it became clear this wasn't a scandal. It was a tragedy. But the internet, as always, turned pain into speculation. One viral post claimed Celeste was spotted at a Maryland concert on August 23rd or 24th, 2025, less than 2 weeks before her body was found. Footage showed a girl in a black tube top with similar hair and build, standing in the balcony beside David's brother.
The guy she's standing next to is also David's brother, which raises even more questions. Now, the timing here is very important because the concert was about 12 days before David's abandoned Tesla was towed from the Hollywood Hills area near his house.
If that truly was her, the timeline falls apart, since experts say her body appeared to have been deceased for longer than 12 days, unless extreme California heat sped up the decomposition process. Some experts consider that possible, while others insist the sighting was debunked. TMZ even updated its coverage, claiming the girl wasn't Celeste. But that only raised new questions. If it wasn't her, why was David surrounded by someone who looked just like her? And why was he pointing toward the balcony, making a half-heart gesture? Fans are divided. Some call it obsession, others something ritualistic, but all agree it's unsettling. Meanwhile, law enforcement wasn't idle. On September 18, 2025, LAPD conducted a raid on a Hollywood Hills home rented by David's manager. Detectives searched the property for over 12 hours, using luminol to detect traces of blood and seizing multiple electronic devices believed to hold digital evidence. David, who had been paying a $2,000 monthly lease, terminated the agreement right after the raid and disappeared from the residence. So, what were police looking for? Sources suggest investigators believe Celeste may have stayed there while missing, a runaway possibly sheltered by David in her final days. And if that's true, this wasn't just carelessness. It could be considered harboring or concealing a minor. But let's take a step back. This story isn't just about David. It's about the entire system. About how an industry fueled by youth, fandom, and obsession can create the ideal conditions for exploitation. An artist barely out of his teens, a girl barely entering hers, and a culture that romanticizes dark lyrics until they start sounding like predictions. Celeste wasn't only the victim of one individual, she was a casualty of an industry that glorifies damaged love, toxic passion, and blurred boundaries. And that wig, the key piece of evidence, is more than just hair. It represents how the line between art and reality twisted so far that it cost a young life. The bloody shirt, the silence that followed, and that wig all became symbols of a career and conscience unraveling. Let's focus on the detail that turned this case from strange to deeply unsettling: the wig. When the new backstage footage emerged showing David holding what appeared to be Celeste's wig, it wasn't just fuel for gossip, it was the first tangible piece of evidence connecting him to her image, even after her death. Investigators already suspected she had been with him during her final days, but this footage suggested possession, not mere connection. And in criminal investigations, possession often points to control. From the beginning, the timeline surrounding Celeste's disappearance raised questions. She vanished in April 2024, and her mother later confirmed that she had a boyfriend named David. At the time, no one made the link. But when her body was discovered in September 2025 inside David's impounded Tesla, the world realized she had been missing for nearly 17 months. The Tesla told its own story. Reports stated that the car had been abandoned near David's Hollywood Hills residence for 5 days before being towed. A parking citation was issued, neighbors complained about the smell, and when workers at the impound lot opened the trunk, they discovered Celeste's body wrapped in plastic, already in advanced decomposition. That level of decay was significant. It indicated she'd been dead for weeks, possibly longer, which is why the wig footage became even more critical. It might explain how rumors surfaced about her being alive in late August when, by that point, her body was already deteriorating. Then came the raid. On September 18, 2025, LAPD executed a search warrant at a Hollywood Hills property linked to David's team. According to TMZ, detectives searched for traces of blood, clothing, and personal belongings that could confirm Celeste had been there while she was missing. They left with multiple bags of seized evidence, including fabrics and electronic devices. Neighbors reported that the search lasted more than 12 hours, with luminol sprayed across the floors and walls. What investigators wanted to know wasn't just if she had been there, it was how long and who else knew. Among the findings was one chilling detail. Buried in reports, a bloody shirt was recovered and logged as evidence. Authorities didn't disclose whose blood it was, but when combined with the wig footage, the narrative became clearer. The wig implied possession. The shirt suggested violence. Meanwhile, David's silence spoke volumes. The internet, however, did not stay quiet. Twitch discussions turned into public investigations. Ludwig hosted a stream with Jason Lena, one of David's closest collaborators, pressing him on whether he had seen the allegations. Jason initially dismissed them as exaggerated rumors, but Ludwig persisted, showing tattoo comparisons, Celeste's disappearance timeline, and finally, the wig footage. Jason had no response. Clips of that moment went viral across platforms. The defining moment wasn't Jason's denial, it was his pause. For many viewers, that hesitation appeared to signal complicity, and soon, the fallout intensified. Tour dates were already being canceled across major cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, with ticketing agencies notifying fans. But then fans noticed something else. David's official merch store had gone offline. Hoodies, vinyls, posters, everything was removed overnight. It was later confirmed by industry insiders that vendors were ordered to stop all sales immediately. The wig footage was the final breaking point. No company wanted to be caught selling merchandise tied to a man accused of stealing his deceased girlfriend's wig amid a murder investigation. It would look like complicity. For brands, this wasn't a moral choice. It was about damage control. Crocs, Hollister, and other partners swiftly removed his name from their campaigns, knowing public outrage could destroy their reputations if they didn't act fast. While corporations moved to protect themselves, Celeste's family was left in grief. Her mother told reporters she'd always sensed her daughter's boyfriend, David, was trouble, but never imagined things would end this way. In Lake Elsinore, community members gathered for candlelight vigils beneath posters that once pleaded for Celeste's safe return. A GoFundMe page was created to help cover funeral expenses, and her service took place on October 4th, 2025. To her family, the wig wasn't just a piece of evidence, it was cruelty. Proof that even after death, Celeste's image was exploited and treated as something to own. The psychological aspect of this case grows even darker. Multiple outlets reported that Celeste had used fake IDs, which led some of David's friends to believe she was older than she was. The Times of India revealed that his circle assumed she was 19, only to be stunned when police confirmed she was just 14 when their relationship began. If wigs and fake identities played a role in that deception, then David wasn't simply infatuated, he was manufacturing an identity for her, one that blurred her age, her identity, and her truth. The wig became part of that illusion, and when she died, his decision to keep it suggested he was clinging to the version of her he had created. That's why the wig matters. It's not just strands of hair, it's a symbol of control, obsession, and erasure. To investigators, it physically connects him to her. To fans, it makes his disturbing lyrics sound like confessions. And to her family, it represents yet another way their daughter's life was taken from her. The question now isn't whether David took the wig. The footage confirms that. The real question is why. Was it a trophy, a cover-up, or the final piece in a fantasy he'd been building since Celeste was alive? Soon after, the fallout on his career became undeniable. The first blow came from his tour. Fans who had purchased tickets for the San Francisco and Los Angeles shows received emails from Access announcing the cancellations due to unforeseen circumstances. One fan even read the notice aloud on YouTube, their voice breaking as they realized the artist they once defended wasn't just canceling shows, he was disappearing from the spotlight altogether. That same weekend, his US tour dates were wiped from Ticketmaster listings. European and Asian stops remained online briefly, but within days, they too vanished. The final blow came when the Grammy Museum, where David had been scheduled for an intimate showcase, removed his name from its calendar. A performance meant to elevate him as a serious artist disappeared overnight. Then came the industry-wide blackout. Interscope Records, which had heavily invested in his debut album Withered, suddenly froze all promotional activities. The deluxe edition, which insiders said was already in production, was quietly shelved. Billboard later reported that the deluxe version was removed from release schedules altogether, and radio stations that once played his songs in heavy rotation began cutting him mid-segment. Spotify analytics revealed something unexpected. While streams of Romantic Homicide and Here With Me briefly surged out of morbid curiosity, David's artist page lost more than 500,000 monthly listeners in under a week. Fans weren't just listening less, they were unfollowing him en masse as a public statement. Inside the fandom, chaos followed. On Reddit, the largest David community went into lockdown. Moderators pinned an announcement stating that conspiracy-related posts would no longer be permitted. But within 2 days, the subreddit was overrun with screenshots allegedly linking him to Celeste, forcing moderators to shut it down entirely. Fan pages on Twitter and Instagram that once shared edits of his videos began rebranding, or disappearing altogether. The tipping point came when popular Fortnite streamer Clix, one of David's most visible collaborators, unfollowed him live during a broadcast. That moment sent ripples through the internet. If even his gaming circle was backing away, supporters had little defense left. Meanwhile, Twitch discussions only intensified. Ludwig's debate with Jason Lewine became one of the most scrutinized clips in the entire case. Jason, who had previously worked with David on early tracks, attempted to downplay the situation, calling the accusations overblown. But Ludwig pressed further. "Have you seen the tattoo photos? Have you seen the wig footage?" Jason hesitated, dodged the question, and then went quiet. That silence said more than any denial could. The chat erupted with speculation, and clips of his reaction spread across social media, turning into viral memes. freeze frames captioned with lines like, "When you realize your friend might actually be guilty." Jason later tried to clarify his comments on his own stream, saying he was simply shocked, not complicit. But the damage was irreversible. The fandom had shifted, and now even David's close collaborators face scrutiny. While the internet debated, investigators continued their work. Sources within the LAPD told the Los Angeles Times they believed Celeste had been staying at the Hollywood Hills rental during the months leading up to her death. Evidence collected during the raid indicated she may have lived there intermittently, supported by footage of her appearing in live streams and photos showing her in rooms consistent with the home's layout. That revelation reshaped the story. Celeste wasn't just found in David's car, she might have been staying with him for months. And if she lived there while missing, anyone who entered that home could have seen her. Which raises a troubling question. How many people knew? The silence from the industry became increasingly noticeable. When TMZ broke news of the raid, they reported that David's lease on the property, valued at nearly $20,000 per month, was terminated within days. The New York Post later confirmed that he vacated the house immediately after the search. He abandoned the property as if it were toxic, yet the executives who profited from his rise remained silent. Interscope issued no statement. Streaming platforms ignored questions about why his numbers spiked following the scandal. Brands like Crocs and Hollister removed his name from their websites without explaining why they hadn't severed ties earlier. It painted a troubling picture, an industry eager to profit from his fame, now retreating into silence when accountability was needed most. Corporate denial, a grieving family, and a system built on quiet complicity. This is where the story evolves from a single artist's downfall into a wider reckoning. What began with a wig in David's hands has now raised questions about the entire music industry. Who knew? Who stayed silent? And how many others like Celeste never made the headlines? Let's start with the legal side. The LAPD has not yet filed official charges against David, but the investigation is moving forward. Authorities confirmed Celeste's remains were identified on September 17th, and within 24 hours, detectives raided his Hollywood Hills residence, seizing multiple pieces of evidence. Forensic testing on the wig and the blood-stained shirt continues, but investigators reportedly have enough grounds to pursue charges related to unlawful sexual activity with a minor, harboring a runaway, and possibly homicide. Legal analysts told several outlets that even if murder charges aren't filed, the evidence of harboring and the timeline surrounding Celeste's disappearance could still lead to a lengthy prison sentence. ABC7 also reported that detectives are exploring whether Celeste was confined at David's residence during her final days. If proven, this moves beyond coincidence. It becomes a potential kidnapping case. While law enforcement continues to build its case, the industry appears to be cleaning up behind the scenes. Interscope went silent. No statement, no public condemnation, just the quiet removal of David's name from all official platforms. Billboard later confirmed that the withered deluxe release had been canceled, though no explanation was given. Spotify has yet to address the sudden spike in streams following the news of Celeste's death. And the Grammy Museum never explained why it removed his scheduled showcase. They simply deleted it as if it had never been planned. That silence isn't neutrality, it's avoidance. These companies didn't just market David, they shaped his image. They pushed romantic homicide into TikTok virality, sold his dark aesthetic to millions, and branded him as the archetype of the tortured genius. All while a teenage girl was missing, the fallout forced fans to face something uncomfortable: parasocial loyalty. For years, David's audience defended his disturbing lyrics as art. They even celebrated the coincidence of romantic homicide being released on Celeste's birthday, unaware of its implications. Many called his fixation on death relatable. But once the wig footage surfaced, those same fans began questioning whether they had been applauding a confession. Online communities fractured, Reddit threads locked, fan pages vanished, and stan accounts rebranded or deleted. The illusion broke, and people realized they hadn't just supported an artist, they may have helped enable his silence. Then came the protests in Lake Elsinore. Hundreds gathered outside City Hall demanding justice. They held candles, raised signs reading "Justice for Celeste," and chanted her name. Donations on GoFundMe surpassed $24,000, funding her funeral on October 4th. But her family made it clear. They weren't seeking money. They wanted accountability. At the vigils, parents spoke about the dangers of online grooming. Teachers from Celeste's school criticized the system that failed to protect her. Classmates posted TikToks, crying as they asked how someone they once sat beside had become the center of a national tragedy. Yet the most pressing question wasn't directed at David, it was for those around him. Who saw Celeste in that Hollywood Hills house? According to the Los Angeles Times, evidence indicates she spent her final days there, raising a haunting truth. Too many people may have known and said nothing. That means managers, collaborators, and possibly even label representatives walked through that house and saw her. Did anyone ask for identification? Did anyone question why a teenager was staying in a $2,000 a month rental linked to a rising musician? Or did they choose to ignore it because the numbers looked good and the shows were profitable? That's why many are calling this a wake-up call for the entire music industry. Because David isn't the first. We've seen this before with R. Kelly, Ian Watkins, and many other lesser-known artists who used their fame to exploit others, while their teams, labels, and fans ignored warning signs until lawsuits or tragedy exposed the truth. The parallels are undeniable. The wig is what makes this particular case unforgettable, a single image of an artist holding what appears to be his deceased girlfriend's disguise. But the bigger issue lies in the pattern behind it. A culture where wealth and fame protect abusers, where corporations stay silent until their profits are threatened, and where victims are mourned only after the damage is irreversible. The cultural impact has been immense. On TikTok, edits of Celeste filled feeds. Her name trended on Twitter for weeks. Teens who once admired David began posting videos warning each other about grooming and power imbalances. Parents began sharing her story in classrooms as a cautionary example. Celeste became more than a victim. She became a symbol of how dangerous blurred boundaries between artists and fans can be. Meanwhile, creators like Ludwig and XQC unexpectedly turned into investigators. Their live reactions became part of the public trial, as millions tuned in to watch events unfold in real time. Twitch wasn't just for entertainment anymore. It became the platform where this case was dissected, debated, and judged by an audience of millions. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, click one of the boxes on your screen to explore more stories like this.